Okay, so I haven't had much practice at this, so bear with me. Today at work, I realized that I was triggered, and by realizing that I was triggered, how I realized that I was triggered more likely is that I started to get very angry and tense, and my whole body started to kind of hum. And the more upset I got, the stronger that hum got. So I've finally come to realize that I get triggered, I get angry, then the anxiety starts to kick in. And in this instance for today, it caused an episode where I split, where everything became very black and white, and there was no real way to process things in a rational manner at first. It took a lot of willpower to go into my own mind and go, this is not a rational response. This is an overreaction, and I have to find a way to bring myself back down. And that's one of the first times I've been able to do that. Normally, I get to the point where the hum is so loud, it's like my entire body is just vibrating and moving, and there's nothing I can do to stop it because all I can do is focus on it and how overwhelming it is, and that I literally feel like I could begin to ooze out of my own skin. And I was able to avoid going that far down the rabbit hole with that sensation and that reaction by forcing myself to slow down, to take a breath, to admit to myself, literally admit, you are overreacting. This is extreme. And that's very hard for me to do. But I feel like by being able to do that, I can attribute that to therapy and willingness to truly grow. For lack of a better way to express it, I want to grow. I want to work with my disorder and be able to sort of control it. And I know that that is potentially a false way to look at it because you can't always control things. But in this instance, I believe that through treatment and coping skills and in putting down the foundation that helps me slow down, bring myself back down, and fight that anxiety off by being logical about my own reaction and trying to remove as much emotion from it as possible so that it's more logical, because that's how I look at things when I'm like that. Everything's very black and white. It's usually some sort of thought about, I can't believe this person doesn't get this, and are they dumb, or is it really that complicated or confusing? Because to me, I get it. I see the exact steps it takes to get there. And it doesn't make any sense that someone else couldn't. And so I have to admit to myself, that's extreme. That doesn't allow for gray. That doesn't allow for human nature, for different cognitive abilities or processes, or even as something to as simply put it as someone being in a different part of their own journey than I am. Maybe I'm further along. Maybe I'm not as far as along as I think I am. And I have to create that gray room, that wiggle room, so that people can be human, because otherwise, at the end of the day, I'm alone because I push everyone away for expecting too much from them, for wanting them to be something that they're not necessarily capable of doing yet, or may never be capable of doing. And that's not my place to force them to fit this expectation of reality I have because of the way my brain is wired. Because that would be like expecting them to completely understand my breakdowns and my anxieties and my triggers and just get it because it's common sense. And that's not fair, because that's not how it works. Mental health is different to everyone. Syndromes are different. They can be correlating or similar, and that's why things like borderline personality disorder or depression compared to bipolar, or different disorders get misdiagnosed, and that's okay. That's why things have to be gray. That's why you have to embrace the gray. And I really feel like I was able to begin to chip away at being able to do that tonight. So in a way, I guess I feel like treatment is helping, and that's progress, and that's something to honor and acknowledge. And I feel like that's an important lesson for anyone that's relatively new to this process that might still be stuck dealing with a lot of stigma or confusion or resentment in different pieces of their lives, is that when you make progress, no matter how big or small it might be to the outside world, when you make progress of any sort, that's amazing. That's something to embrace and to be proud of. You made progress. You did something that you weren't capable of doing yesterday. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it's okay to be proud of that. And that's something to be proud of. And I think that's part of how we start fighting the stigma, is that we realize the different anchors it's put against ourselves. So if you've made progress today, this week, this month, hell, in the last few months, if you've made progress, be proud of yourself. Embrace that progress. Continue to build on it. Use that as a healthier coping mechanism and implement it in the future as much as you can. Continue to find ways to expand how you implement that. But please, please be proud of yourself. You did amazing, okay? And if you need help, or if you're struggling, or if you feel like there is just no reason to keep going on, please seek help. Please seek treatment. It does get better. Do not give up. Please seek help. There is someone out there that will help you in exactly the way that you need. You just have to fight for it. And it's hard and it's exhausting, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And I guess that's all I really wanted to say tonight. So, good night, everybody.